Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Saturday, October 11th. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith with you, and Ryan Robinson, who was on with us many a Saturday last year, is back with us for our first Saturday show of the brand new NHL season. And if you can figure out what these schedule makers are doing, I don't know if they're having a hoot of our great Royal Cannabis products that we promote on this show, or whether it's something of a variety that's influencing their decision making. But how you go from basically no games yesterday to 16 today, and then of course you had 14 on Wednesday. It's Thursday rather. It's just pretty crazy to see the inconsistency with the schedules, and then one game tomorrow, and then a slew on Monday. So just a crazy schedule, but all 32 teams in action, Alex, today.
What doesn't make sense about it is that why wouldn't you stretch these games out over Saturday? Like, okay, yes, you're going up against college football. That's going to happen whether you're on at 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. At least scatter, the things out. Just like we're going to have our first betcast on the 28th, and that'll be the next night that you have all 32 teams in action with, of course, 15-minute intervals. You could have done something where it didn't have to be necessarily 15 minutes, but you could have had games spread out throughout the day where you can be able to watch a little bit of everything. But nonetheless, it'll be interesting to see first big Saturday card, and it'll be interesting to see how teams respond, having that full day off, early into the year. Like I said, it's not like these teams are super fatigued, but there are some teams that looked a little bit sluggish in the first couple of games. So they have a full day off and had these kind of gaps in between. Maybe teams can kind of, get time to gel and, really have, a formidable schedule. We're talking about some time slot things with a couple of teams as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And, of course, Ryan, it's good to have you with us for the first time of this season. I'm sure you're excited about the new NHL season. I'm sure happy that Dallas got a win under their belt in their season opener. But how are things going with you? Things good?
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's been a long summer, I feel like, without hockey. Super excited for this season, obviously, with the Olympics and everything coming up. So just good to be back and see a lot of familiar names in the chat. So just excited to try and win some money with everyone.
No doubt, and we're going to get right into it. For those of you that complain, and there are a few people that complain about how long the show is sometimes, that it goes, 90 minutes, especially on the bigger cards. Well, this is the show for you. We're going to go as fast through these games as humanly possible because I've got to be out of here by 1:30 Eastern time. Ticats game this afternoon. They don't play many Saturday afternoon games, but today they do have one at 3 p.m. Eastern. So we are going to roll right through these games at a blistering pace. 16 games in 90 minutes. Starting now. I sound like Scott Hansen. 16 games of free Ice Guys betting analysis. Start now. Los Angeles Kings taking on the Winnipeg Jets. We've got Winnipeg minus 130 home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. Again, we're going to really cut the flapping of the gums and the extended analysis from yours truly and just cut to the chase when it comes to the bets that I've made. I like the spot and the price here for Winnipeg personally. They're coming off the loss to Dallas. They did not play well in that game at all, really, for the first two periods. It was all Dallas. A furious rally late, but it falls short. They lose 5-4 to Winnipeg. I don't trust LA on the road. They were not a good road team last year. They had a horrible game against Colorado. I thought they were really they got gifted a game because Vegas fell asleep in the third period with a 5-3 lead. I'm not going to give the Kings all the credit for that comeback win against the Golden Knights. There were a lot of Vegas mistakes late in that game. I think there's a tricky spot, especially when you factor in this is a 10:30 a.m. local time start on the Pacific time zone in the West Coast. So not an easy situation here to be playing this early for a team on the West Coast. So I think Winnipeg here off a loss at home. You're not going to get the Jets price this cheap at home too often. So I'll take a shot here. Winnipeg minus 130 to get the day started. Alex, Kings, Jets.
Yeah, I guess this game is not going to clash with USC and Michigan. I like like I said, the body clock, element. That's something to look at early and late in the season. And I think that could come into play here with LA. So I took with Winnipeg First goal of the first period, we cashed both of those on Tuesday that we had, or Thursday rather that we had. So I'm got plus 120 with Jets to score the first goal in the first period. I think they can just jump out and maybe get a little bit of an early kind of start on LA, and then the Kings. Like I said, we've seen them be resilient in the two games that they played. Even in that game where they were getting worked by Colorado, they didn't give up late. So I don't want to play a money line or even look at a side, especially with an early start game. If the Jets don't show up early, then the Kings maybe can be able to kind of get their momentum rolling maybe in the second period. So it's good live spots as well. But I like Winnipeg first goal, first period, plus 120 at FanDuel.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, Ryan, LA, Winnipeg.
Yeah, I'm actually right there with you guys. I think Winnipeg. Obviously, I watched that whole game pretty much because they were playing Dallas. Winnipeg didn't play their best. Like you mentioned, there was that rally late, but I think it's a good spot for them to bounce back at home. They're obviously a great team, especially with Hellebuck. So to get that minus 130 price at home, I think is good value. I also really like Alex's point of Winnipeg to score first. I think, especially your home opener, you don't play great. You've come up short late. You're going to want to bounce back early and often. So I expect them to come out flying. I also just haven't really, I know it's only a couple games in, but with LA, they haven't looked particularly great yet. So I really like this spot for Winnipeg. So I'm going to be on Winnipeg money line and might take a small shot with Alex's Winnipeg to score first in the first period.
Obviously, Lowry, Perfetti, Sandberg still out for Winnipeg. They do miss those guys. That is my concern with backing Winnipeg. They are banged up. They didn't look great without those guys against Dallas, but Dallas, pretty tough opponent to draw that in your first game. And like I said, still like the spot here for the Jets. Kemper and Hellebuck projected to start in this game, but no confirmations as of yet. I will keep refreshing my lineup pages, and hopefully
I will too.
Yeah, I will hopefully get as many goalie confirmations out there for you as I possibly can. All right, St. Louis and Calgary. This is the only other afternoon game taking place today. We got St. Louis minus 120 road favorites, 5.5 the total. Stock principles for me in this game. I'm buying the dip, and I think there's been a little bit of a dip here in the price towards St. Louis because of them getting shut out by Minnesota. That was a bit misleading, a final score. It was not as lopsided as that final score would indicate. They were out shooting Minnesota 22-12. Gustafsson was great. It was just one of those games the puck wasn't going in for the St. Louis Blues against Minnesota. So I think they're still a better team than that. Calgary's coming off. This is actually a 3rd and 4 nights early in the season here for the Calgary Flames. They played back-to-back against Vancouver and Edmonton. They won against Edmonton, fell flat in the back-to-back spot against Vancouver. And by the way, if you want a series that's been dominated by one team over the other, how about 9-1 for the Blues over the Flames in the last 10 meetings? 5 straight wins in Calgary at the Saddle Dome for the St. Louis Blues as well. I think it's a nice little buy low spot after a shutout loss. So give me St. Louis here, minus 120. They're the better of these two teams still, in my opinion. And I like my guy Wolf. He's probably going to start, but still you know, he's capable, but I think the Blues are going to bounce back here in this situation. My bargain bin special comes from this game. I'm on St. Louis. I'm also going to dabble in. I know it did not come through with the what game was it? It was Rangers Sabres, right? Team off a shutout loss over by Fekta. Did not win, although there were a lot of chances, but the puck was not going in. We've got that angle in play here. St. Louis off a shutout loss to Minnesota. So don't love it, but I will sprinkle on over by Fekta here. First period, full game over with St. Louis and Calgary. Alex, Blues, Flames.
Right there with you. I got Blues money line. I laid $1.22. I'm also on the over by Fekta, and I actually like this over by Fekta quite a bit. Usually won't be the case when there's a Dustin Wolf start in that, but he has been a little shakier in day games than night games, I've noticed, going back to the last couple of years. So I could see where St. Louis maybe gets a jump on him and we see some goals early and often. So over 1.5, minus 116, over 5.5. I got minus 120 with that, and then 122 with the Blues.
One prop I'd look at for Calgary is the Russian kid, Gridden. Gridden's looked pretty solid here these first couple games. So, again, keep an eye on him. He's looked like he's been dangerous offensively when he's been on the ice for the Calgary Flames here in the first couple games. Ryan, how about you? Anything you like here, St. Louis, Calgary?
Yeah, again, I'm kind of right there with you guys. I lean St. Louis, but something I do like in terms of a prop is Dylan Holloway. Anytime goal, I think he's just a fun player to watch. He was pretty quiet last game. So I look for him to get going early. Obviously, I know Alex mentioned that Dustin Wolf has been pretty shaky in day games too, so that's something to look for. But I just kind of lean St. Louis. Don't have a great feel on this one, but definitely leaning St. Louis.
All right, so that's the afternoon action. The rest of the games are at night. We've got Philadelphia and Florida. Florida minus 270, home favorites, 5.5 being the total in this game. You look at this price here with, that's my bad, Carolina. Sorry about that. Carolina, Philadelphia. Let's get that corrected there. Yeah, there we go. Carolina hosting the Philadelphia Flyers. They're my Stanley Cup pick. They're my Eastern Conference pick. Carolina Hurricanes, and it wasn't a great game. There were some lapses against New Jersey, but thought for the most part, though, they battened down the hatches. They tightened it up when they had to. Once New Jersey got that game tied 3-3, I thought Carolina stepped it up to another level, and they end up putting that game away. A very, very dangerous offensive team, maybe more so than last year. Ehlers now playing with Aho and Jarvis. That has the potential to be an awesome top line. All four lines can contribute. We love the D. If Freddie Anderson can just give them steady goaltending, if he can be steady Freddie in net this season for the Carolina Hurricanes, they're as good as any team in the NHL. Sam Ersson is confirmed in net for this game for the Philadelphia Flyers. By the way, it's Binnington and Wolf projected for St. Louis, Calgary, but nothing confirmed there. No confirmation yet on the Carolina side going into this game. I thought the Flyers, the work ethic was terrific under Rick Tocchet in the first game against Florida. I thought they played hard, they competed hard, but again, offense was the concern for me with Philadelphia coming into the season, and it's the concern for me with Philadelphia going into this game. Only the one goal that they could muster against the Florida Panthers in that 2-1 loss the other night. So maybe I lean under a little bit. The one thing, too, is I could see Brind'Amour wanting to get his team tightening it up just a little bit because they did have a couple of multi-goal leads against New Jersey, and the Devils, or not multi-goal leads, but leads, and the Devils came back a couple of times on them. But so lean under. I'm passing, though, on the side in this game. I mean, Carolina's damn good at home. Philadelphia, the work ethic's there, but if you can't score goals, and they weren't able to do it against Florida, I can't really trust you to go on the road and beat one of the better teams in the, not just the East, one of the better teams in the entire NHL. Alex, what do you think here? Flyers, Hurricanes?
This is a pass for me. I was going to take a shot with the Flyers just because this price is awfully high. 240, 250 early in the season is something I would usually grab even a piece of. Like you said, the Flyers offense being a little shaky. Carolina can clamp down in this game. Maybe look for a live draw. I'm seeing a draw right now at plus 380. If this, kind of coast and maybe the Flyers jump out to a lead, you can get an even better price if an underdog is leading with a heavy favorite on the draw. So that might be the way I look at this. Otherwise, it'll be a pass.
All right, Ryan, anything here? Philly, Carolina?
Yeah, I think Carolina is just the better team all around. Obviously, minus 270 is not worth laying anything, but the only thing I'm thinking about is Carolina team total over 3.5. I just think at home they're gonna stomp the Flyers, so don't feel good about obviously either side here. Don't really want to trust Philadelphia, but I'm looking for that team total. I see it around minus 135, minus 140, over 3.5 for Carolina.
All right, we got New Jersey and Tampa Bay next up. Tampa Bay minus 140 to minus 145, home favorite, 6.5 the total here in this game, depending on which book you are betting at. We have Markstrom and Vasilevsky. I would expect that to be the goalie matchup, but neither one is confirmed at the moment. That was a pretty disappointing loss for Tampa Bay. I mean, they got off to that red-hot start against Ottawa the other night, and they just could not keep it going for 3 periods. Some lapses, and Ottawa ends up coming back on them and getting the victory in that game over the Tampa Bay Lightning 5-4. So losing their home opener, you got to think Tampa not in the greatest of moods. New Jersey off a loss as well in their first game against Carolina, outshot 32-22. So both of these teams probably not loving the way they played in their opening game. But I think Tampa Bay is got to be the team I kind of lean with. They have owned New Jersey in this building. Well, they've won 5 of the last 6 meetings over New Jersey, but here at home, going back to January of last year, 4-3 win, a 6-3 win, a 4-0 win for Tampa Bay here at home. So, and when you like Tampa Bay at home, and I know I mentioned this in our group chat, you see the price here is minus 150. the majority of these Tampa Bay games at home, when the Lightning win, they're going to score 4 goals. They are. I mean, that's just what happens the majority of the time. Even in the loss against Ottawa, they scored 4 goals in that 5-4 loss. So I do like Tampa in this spot to bounce back, but I'm going to play the team total. Over 3.5. It's plus money. Again, Tampa Bay is one of those teams where often when they win, they get to 4 at home, they get to 4 goals, and you'd rather, take Tampa team total over 3.5 at what, plus 115, plus 105, than Tampa Bay minus 150. So that is the move for me. Lightning team total over in this one. Alex, Devils, Lightning.
Okay, one, I want to make sure. Hopefully, I'm not too loud. People are saying I was loud.
Sounds
in the
good.
chat, so
Perfect. Yeah,
okay.
the mic was a little loud. Yeah,
a little clippy.
Right.
Okay, all right. Great. So I'm with you on Lightning team total over 3.5. Did grab that, but I also grabbed, and shout out to Jonathan Davis for giving us this information about how well they've cashed in the puck line. 92 victories the last 2 years. They've cashed the puck line in 71 of those 92 victories. So don't play them often, but I'll go lay the puck and a half. Got plus 177 at Bet Online. Plus 170 is around at Caesars and a couple other shops. So definitely get that. So I'll go team total over at the Lightning, and I'll lay the puck line plus 1 or minus 1.5 with the Lightning.
Yeah, I lean over full game too. I do. Maybe I'll dabble in the over by fact. It didn't initially make my card, but maybe just a small tiny bet on that. Because I'll tell you what, yes, Vasilevsky was not great against Ottawa, but he's usually one of these guys when he's off a really kind of a subpar game by his standards, he'll usually bounce back. I'm not sure about Markstrom. Let's not act like Markstrom was very good either in the Carolina game the other night. So both of these veteran goalies looking for a little bit of a better performance here tonight. Ryan, anything you like here, Devils and Lightning?
Yeah, I like Tampa Bay in this spot. I think Vasilevsky is solid at home. He's going to want to bounce back. Both these teams coming off not their best performances. So definitely like the first period over as well, seeing it around minus 130 range. Both teams coming off a loss. They're going to want to start fast, start early. So I like that. I was definitely leaning Tampa. So I think that's a really good value with the puck line of minus 1.5 there. But I'm sticking with team total for sure. Just in case they lose a 5-4 game or whatever. I think it's pretty high scoring. So I'm on the first period over as well as at Tampa team total over 3.5. That's all I have for this one.
All right, Washington Capitals and New York Islanders. We've got the Capitals minus 115, road favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. That was pretty rough for the Capitals. That was a pretty poor game for them against Boston. It was pretty rough. But because of that loss to the Boston Bruins in their opener, I think we're getting a nice price with the Capitals here. And I don't like the Islanders. I don't think much of the Islanders right now. We saw them obviously go down to defeat to the red-hot Pittsburgh Penguins to start the year in their first game. The Island, and we've mentioned in the over in that Islander-Penguins game. That's another one where those two teams head-to-head, it goes over the total. The Islanders I don't think they're the same defensive team, that we've seen in the past, and that was another sign of it against Pittsburgh. Sorokin, to me, he's not been the same since the last couple of years, in my opinion. 2 years ago, he had a great year, and it's been a bit of a steady decline for him ever since then in net. By the way, we'll see what the goaltending matchup is here at the moment, if it's been announced. It looks like it is Sorokin for the Islanders, and it is Logan Thompson for the Washington Capitals. So the goaltending matchup has been confirmed. I think we get and Washington's capable of going on the road here, in my opinion, and winning this game. So I'll take Washington minus 115 here to bounce back against the New York Islanders. It's been a series history where it's actually kind of gone back and forth as far as series history is concerned. Islanders have won in Washington. Washington's been able to win here in Long Island. So definitely a situation where I think we're going to see Washington play a lot better than they did against Boston. And it's a beatable team. Like I say, I don't think overly highly right now of the New York Islanders. So I'll take the Caps here, minus 115. Alex, what do you think here? Washington, New York Islanders.
This is a pass pre-game. This will be one I'll be looking for live. So definitely check Patreon and in the chat. The live wager chat, I'll probably have some stuff on this one, but I lean toward Washington. Like you said, I think we should definitely see a better effort after that loss against Boston the other night.
Sprinkled on Protus and McMichael for props as well here in this game for Washington as well. Ryan, what do you think here? Washington, New York Islanders.
Yeah, I'm with Alex. I'm staying off this game, but if anything, I lean Washington. Just don't have a great feel for it. Don't really trust the Islanders. So I'm gonna stay off this one.
Both games in Long Island, or the last two meetings last year in Long Island, went under. By the way, with these two teams, so including, of course, this is the scene where Alex Ovechkin broke the NHL record, the Wayne Gretzky all-time goal record last year. So I'm sure great memories forever now for Alex Ovechkin whenever he plays in this building. Maybe that's what gets him on the board tonight. We'll have to wait and see. Returning to where he obviously broke Wayne Gretzky's record. All right, Buffalo and Boston. We've got the Bruins minus 115 home favorites. The total here sitting at 6 across the board. I mean, this poor Buffalo Sabres team, what can you say here? Josh Norris especially, man. No one deserves this kind of heartbreak and this kind of bad luck as far as injuries. But again, Josh Norris, first game of the year, an injury for him. He's out at least day to day, might even be week to week. Zach Benson remains out for this team as well. Also without Kesselring on the blue line, who they got in the J.J. Peterka trade. So Buffalo already dealing with some early season injuries, although Hampus Lindholm now on the injury report for the Boston Bruins as well going into this game. Jeremy Swayman in net confirmed for Boston. Colton Ellis could end up getting the start here for the Buffalo Sabres. And of course, UPL's out with a lower body injury. Ellis was just claimed off waivers, by the way, on Monday earlier this week by the Buffalo Sabres. So yes, we might be talking about him getting the nod here for the Buffalo Sabres in net. I'm looking at he has he's not played an NHL game yet. So if he does start, this would be his NHL debut. And at 25 years old, making your NHL debut kind of tells you've been a bounced around journeyman minor league goaltender pretty much up until this point. So we'll see. Alice, you're right. Real Deal Prime's right. Good AHL numbers, but like I say, you got to show it at the NHL level, before I'm truly ready to get on board, especially when you have not obviously made an NHL start. I'm going to take a shot with the system play here. Buffalo off a shutout loss to the Rangers. So I did dabble in the first period over, the full game over here in this Buffalo bot. Now I am worried about Norris from an offensive standpoint. He's certainly a big part of Buffalo's attack on the power play, plays on the top line. It's concerning, obviously, from as far as goal scoring potential is concerned, that he is not in the lineup for the Sabres. But, you're going to see Uri Kulik move up to the center spot on the top line with Tage Thompson and Jason Zucker. Kulik, I think, is a good prop guy today because now the value is definitely on him taking the spot of Josh Norris. McLeod moves up to the second line center spot with Tuck and Jack Quinn, and Peyton Krebs to the third line center spot. So just some shuffling down the middle here for Buffalo a little bit going into this game. But definitely I like the value now on Uri Kulik. So definitely going to sprinkle a goal prop, assist prop as well for him in this game. Over by fact, from the side perspective, I'm not betting Buffalo at this price. I'm not that enamored with betting Boston. I know Boston, credit to them, 2-0, beating Washington and Chicago on back-to-back nights. Good start. I think it'll fade at some point, but look, they're feeling good. Swayman's played well, especially in that first game that he got the start against Washington. They got confidence, and I don't trust Buffalo. So if you've made me at this side, I'd probably take Boston, but I'm just going to stick to the over by Fecta with the Sabres off the shutout loss. Alex, what do you think here? Sabres, Bruins.
So we do see Colton Ellis in net for Buffalo. And by the way, I will be updating goalie charts this afternoon at Patreon as well. His numbers weren't too bad last year with the Springfield and the St. Louis's affiliate. 22, 14, and 3. 922 save percentage, 2.63 goals against. Did decently well in the playoffs as well, too. They lost, only played 3 games. But this is a guy where he's getting the chance to possibly shine. There's a huge goalie clusterfuck in Buffalo. It's been like that for 4 years now. So maybe he gets it. Like I said, no one has a book on him like they do on some other goalies, and so maybe he has a chance to shine here. But I like Boston in this spot. I think they've got some decent momentum rolling, even though they haven't been looking the best in their victories. But the momentum is enough. And Buffalo, I reposted the video of the fans. They were not happy after that 4-0 loss and saying, it's the same old shit again with the Sabres. And so I am going to be on that over by Fecta in game. going to wait and try to get some better plus prices, but I do like Boston here, so I did lay the $1.15 on the money line.
All right, Alex liking Boston here. Ryan, what do you think? Buffalo, Boston.
I'm staying off this in terms of sides or totals or anything. I do have a prop that I'm looking at for a possible bargain bin special that I'll get into a little bit later, but nothing for this game in terms of sides or totals for me.
All right, we continue along here. Brisk pace. I love it. Rangers and Penguins. We've got the New York Rangers minus 140, road favorites. 6 the total in this game. What do we do to get blessed with this same fucking matchup twice in 1 week? But I don't know. But here we are with the Rangers and the Penguins again.
It's like they play each other 10 times a year, honestly.
Yeah, I know. It feels like it. Barn burn. I'm shocked this is not a national TV game either. But never. They always put Rangers Penguins on national TV, like obviously they did for ESPN on Tuesday night earlier this week. But look, redemption for the Rangers, possibly. They did play better against Buffalo, but I wouldn't say it was leaps and bounds better. I think it was more so Buffalo ineptitude as much as it was the Rangers bouncing back and winning that game against Buffalo the other night. Pittsburgh's feeling good. Like I continue to say, they played solid. They play hard. I think their defense has been a little bit better than anticipated. Now, Jari is still a little shaky, and I know they beat the Islanders, but he's still a little bit shaky. In net, in my opinion, for the Pittsburgh Penguins. We'll have to see who's going to get the start here. It is She Loves You. Yeah. It's Arturs Shelovs for Pittsburgh. That's the right call. Good job, Danny Muse. And Igor Shesterkin getting the start here for the Rangers. Trocheck out for the New York Rangers. So that hurts, especially at the center ice position. So there's going to be some shuffling here for Mike Sullivan, who will try to beat his former team this time around after being unable to do it, being unable to score a goal against his former team, obviously, in the first meeting. Looks like we're going to have Zibanejad, JT Miller, Noah Laba on the third-line center spot, Sam Carrick, the fourth-line center spot. So that's the look here now for the Rangers going into this game here tonight. I don't like the price enough, really. I mean, I've lean Rangers, but minus 140 on the road's not great. I'm going to take a small shot with the over here just because I like the idea of a low-scoring game. The first meeting, same two teams playing each other just days later. Oftentimes you get the reverse happening. Whereas conversely, you could have a high-scoring game between two teams. They play less than a week later. Oftentimes it goes the other way. It's low-scoring, the rematch. So it doesn't always happen that way, but I could see that being the case here a little bit tonight. So little bit on the over. That's about it here for me. Alex, Rangers, Penguins.
Small shots on the draw. I grab plus 320. And I also have at FanDuel that overtime, a game to go to overtime and game-winning goal. Mika Zibanejad at 55-1.
All right, there we go. That's a great price, 55-1 on that. Ryan, Rangers, Penguins.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some goals early and often here, especially because they played a few days ago. It's pretty low scoring, pretty slow. First game of the year, so always a little bit sloppy. You get the rust off. But I think there's some goals early and often here, so I like the first period over. I also am going to take a small shot with that over 6. I might use it as a parlay piece and combine it with some props I'm looking at, but no sides or totals. I definitely lean New York, but I don't like that minus 140. And then obviously Pittsburgh is just, Pittsburgh until they consistently show us anything. I'm not going to really trust them. So I'm just looking for a lot of goals here. So I like that first period and that full game over.
All right, good stuff. All right, next up, we've got the Montreal Canadiens and Alex's Chicago Blackhawks back at the Madhouse on Madison for the first time this season. A home opener tonight at the UC. We've got Montreal minus 160 road favorites, 6 the total here in this game. Montreal splitting the first 2 games, losing in Toronto on Wednesday and bouncing back strong on Thursday night against Detroit, 5-1 over the Red Wings. And I was on Montreal first period, full game. Money line split against Detroit, so it was nice to have that. After they let me down against Toronto, where I took a shot with the Habs and the team total over against Toronto, and they got 2 goals there early by the second period and didn't score again after that. So nice to get the money lost with Montreal against Toronto back with Montreal against Detroit the other night. Now they go on the road against Chicago. Chicago 0-2. Tough start to the year, though. You played Florida, which was a tough opener. Boston, I would have liked to see them win that, but it is what it is. They had a chance. They had chances. ended up losing in overtime. Now they go back home for their home opener here against Montreal. Here's my concern with Montreal. It's the guy that's starting in net. And look, he's had a good run here the last year and a bit. Sam Montembeault for the Montreal Canadiens. But this is now the preseason. He wasn't very good. He's struggling. He was getting lit up on multiple occasions in the preseason. I didn't love the way he played against Toronto in the first game, which Montreal lost. So there's a little bit of fighting the puck I'm seeing right now from Sam Montembeault in his game at the moment for the Montreal Canadiens. I love this team offensively, and their speed is something else, Montreal. This should be a fun game because both teams have great transition game. Chicago, I think, is really improved on the transition, the counterattack. You turn the puck over, they're gone in the other direction, and you damn well know Montreal is like that. You turn the puck over against them, they can go in the other direction. So I think we see goals tonight, and I love Spencer Knight, don't get me wrong, but and he'll be in net here for the Chicago Blackhawks tonight, but I still see Montreal finding the back of the net. I see Chicago finding the back of the net here in this game. I mean, I don't love Montembeault's form right now, and this goes all the way back to the preseason. I don't think he's on his game at the moment. So I think both teams score. I like first period over, full game over in this game. By the way, both teams have gone first period over in both games so far this year. Montreal first period overs have cashed in both games, and Chicago first period overs have cashed in both games. Now, the one game Chicago did go over full game. The Florida one stayed under. The Boston game for Chicago went over, and both Montreal games full game have gone over the total, although the Leaf game had no business going over the total. That was ridiculous for him. That game went over. And obviously, Montreal-Detroit, 5.5, that game went over. So I like full game over, first period over by Fecta here for me in this game. And I am going to sprinkle a bit on the Chicago side a bit, and I'm going to do what I did the other night with Boston when I took Chicago. I'm going to go money line plus 140, split with Chicago team total over 2.5. Chicago team total over 2.5 is a very good price in this game. Over 2.5 at minus 128 for that Blackhawks team total. I think they can get 3. Don't love Montembeault's form at the moment. I got to be honest. It wasn't good in the preseason. Didn't love it in the Toronto game necessarily. So I think Chicago can chip in here. So over by Fecta, and a split between Chicago money line and Chicago team total over 2.5 for me tonight. Alex, Canadiens, Blackhawks.
Yeah, it should be a fun one. Note the early 6:00 start time, even with the ceremonies and everything. But that kind of find that interesting that they did.
That's for Hockey Night in Canada because it's one of the Hockey Night in Canada.
Oh, okay. Because I was wondering
at 7 Eastern. Yeah.
And I was wondering that too. And I'm like, if anything, the Cubs game being at the same time, I'm sure the Hawks would have loved to have made this their regular 7:30 start. But so there will be a ceremony, and it's going to be a little longer one because it is the centennial anniversary. There's Pat Foley's doing a ceremony. Jeremy Roenick will be there. Dennis Savard will be there. There'll be other players from celebrating the 100th anniversary, the ones that are still around. And so I like goals early. I like the first period over. I'm not waiting for a plus price. I grabbed minus $1.16. I like it all the way up to $1.25. I would also look at grabbing both teams to score in the first period. Full game over, that might be something I'd wait for in game. I have 2 bargain bins that I like, one from each team. I'll talk about that later. But I also like this game, and someone mentioned in the chat, I like this game to go to overtime. I like the draw. I grabbed that. I got plus 325. And then, of course, like I said, I'm grabbing at least a little piece of this with every draw I play early. Frank Nazar to get the game-winning goal, 80-1 at FanDuel.
I like Frank Nazar props for sure. We're just going to keep backing that guy. He's looked dangerous in each of the first 2 games. I'm going to keep looking toward Zach Bolduc. You got to keep riding Zach Bolduc right now. This guy's been terrific. 2 games, 2 goals to start the season for the Montreal Canadiens. So you love to see the start that he's been. How about Oliver Kapanen, plus 600? Why not sprinkle? This guy's got a goal in back-to-back games. He scored the shorty against Toronto, scored again against Detroit, the very next night. Oliver Kapanen, that's Sammy Kapanen's nephew or something, I believe, is what I heard.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
It's an uncle. Sammy Kapanen is his uncle, not his father. I believe I got that right. But, Oliver Kapanen's looked very solid here in the early going for the and he's a depth forward. Like, he plays on the 3rd line for Montreal. So, yeah, I've been impressed with him so far this season. Okay, Kasperi Kapanen is his cousin. Okay, Kimmo Kapanen is his dad. Sammy's his uncle. Sammy Kapanen's his uncle. So there you go.
They are all connected.
Yeah, they're all connected in some way. And Kasperi's a cousin. How about that? Kasperi Kapanen, of course, currently playing for the Edmonton Oilers. What do you think here, Ryan? Montreal, Chicago.
Yeah, I honestly really like Chicago at this price, plus 140. I'm all over them for their money line. I also think there will be goals early and often, so I like that first period over 1.5. Both teams have young, talent, a lot of speed, pretty back and forth transition game up and down the ice. So I like that. I like the goals early in this for that first period over. I am going to see, depending on that, the live full game over. So I'll be keeping an eye on that. But I really like Chicago in this spot. So I like that plus 140. I am going to take Chicago money line with a Connor Bedard anytime goal. I see that around plus 400. Can get that a little bit of a better price at some places. So I really like that. I think he, first home game, Chicago's had some tough losses. I think Montreal's coming off a big win. They're kind of gonna have a little bit of a lull. So Chicago at home, as Alex mentioned, it's a centennial season, so they have the ceremonies. It's their first home game. That place should be rocking, and obviously Bedard's the face of that team. So what better way to get the season started at home than finding the back of the net? So give me Connor Bedard anytime goal and Chicago Blackhawks money line.
And two quick notes too. One, we talk about it with Boston about looking at Geeky and Pasternak anytime you're looking at the Bruins. You could do that really with Bedard and Nazar, especially if the Hawks are favorite. You want to bump a price, so that's a great angle to look at, and it's something to keep a note of. Also, too, in mentioning that it is Cubs and Brewers Game 5, should the Cubs be winning or actually going and win that game, that place will probably be up for grabs because it'll be a majority of a lot of Cub fans in attendance there as well. So that could also boost a little bit of that crowd. Like I said, should be a packed house anyway, but that'll be a little bit of a boost. You might hear some rumbling. Same thing we're seeing with Toronto and the Jays being involved. You might just see what's going on in the crowd, and the game might be dull. That may be what's going on. So, look for those angles in some of those cities that still have some other things going on, even Seattle. That does play a little bit of a role. That crowd's just a little bit more amped up, and that's just maybe something that a team might need in a certain moment.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on for sure. And no doubt, by the way, the Detroit-Toronto, we'll get to this more on tomorrow's show, but Detroit-Toronto Monday, they're doing a home and home. The Detroit-Toronto game on Monday has been moved to 2 p.m. Eastern from 4 p.m. Eastern, so that does not get played at the same time as ALCS Game 2 between the Blue Jays and the Mariners. So that is definitely something to point out. All right, Ottawa, Florida. We've got Florida minus 145, home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. How about Ottawa? What a nice gutsy win by them. They were down 2-0 early in the first period. Came all the way back, 1-5-4 against Tampa Bay. And now they're trying to complete the 2-0 sweep of the mighty Lightning Panthers Florida road trip. Can they do it, though? Florida, to their credit, back-to-back wins to start the season. No Barkov, no Tkachuk, no problem. Beating Chicago, beating, obviously, Philadelphia. Now, these weren't easy games, though. 1-goal victories. But Florida on the right side of it. I'm a stubborn man. I took Chicago. I took Philly against Florida. I'm going to try to fade Florida. I might stop after tonight if they beat me again, honestly. But I'm going to take Ottawa here, plus 125. I think Ottawa's a tough out for them right now, too. With all due respect to Chicago and all due respect to Philadelphia, can we all agree Ottawa's probably a better team than Chicago and Philadelphia? I think we can. Oh, yeah. I think we can. I think this is where Florida stubs their toe. I like the way Ottawa played in their first. I like the resilience, too. That's a real good sign for Travis Green's team. You're down 2-0 before you can even really get into that game against Tampa Bay, and you found a way to battle back and win that game on the road against a very good team. So I think that gives them confidence going into this game. We got robbed of the Tkachuk brothers battle with Matthew obviously injured and out long term. So only Brady. You got to think Brady might make an impact here. Parlay Pinto, you got to bet him. He looked excellent in that first game against Tampa Bay. Like I said, I've got him for season-long over goals. I think he's going to have a big year for Ottawa. He scored in their very first game of the season against Tampa Bay the other night. So Pinto goal prop is absolutely worth a look. You can get that as well at a very good price going into this game. Let me just see. It's still, plus 380. Are you kidding? Yeah, plus 380 at some spots, plus 350 at some spots. Terrific price for him to find the back of the net with the way he's been going. So, Ottawa plus 125, and I'll also take Shane Pinto at that price to find the back of the net. Alex, what do you think here? Senators, Panthers.
Yeah, small shot on Sens. I got plus 120, and then I'll go with over team total 2.5 minus 125. I don't mind laying a little bit of a price there for them to get over 3 goals, a spot where I feel like they could win.
I think when you look at it, definitely a situation where I think with this Florida team, look, if they win tonight, we're pumping the brakes on the Fade Panthers Express. Next game, I don't care who they're playing. I'm not fading them if they get me again today. But I like this price. I think this is their toughest game so far, easily, after playing the Blackhawks and Flyers. And yeah, I like Ottawa here, plus 125. Ryan, what do you think here? Ottawa, Florida.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough spot. Honestly, it's hard to go against Florida, but Ottawa's been pesky. They're a young team on the rise, so with that plus 125, it's kind of hard to turn down. I definitely lean towards that. I'm still kind of deciding if I want to jump on it, but I do like the over 5.5. I think there's going to be some goals here. I just have a feeling it could be a back and forth type of game. So I'm on that full game over 5.5 right now. But other than that, I'm not on a side or a total. Like I said, I'm going to be keeping an eye on the Ottawa Senators money line, depending on how the game starts. Maybe Florida gets one early, and Ottawa jumps to a really nice plus money price. But staying off that for now, just taking the full game over.
All right, full game over 5.5. Yeah, I laid off the total. I think it could. I think it could go. By the way, Florida 2 unders to begin the year. So, I was kind of thinking with Florida, with Barkov out, it would be just as much an impact negatively to them defensively as offensively. Yep. But so far, 2 unders. And, they're still, they kept Chicago to 2 goals. They kept Philly to 1 goal. So, and obviously when you got Bobrovsky, you're always going to have a chance to keep the other team subdued offensively. Speaking of Bobrovsky, he has been confirmed in net for Florida tonight. We expect Linus Ullmark for Ottawa, but that has not been confirmed as of yet. All right, let's roll along here. I love this pace. We're rolling along here. We've got this hard. We got to be out of here by 45 minutes from now, so we're in good shape to be able to do that. Toronto and Detroit. We've got Toronto minus 140, road favorites, 6 the total here in this game. So I do have an interesting angle on this game from a side perspective. Toronto is the better team. I thought they played pretty solid against Montreal in the first game. Certainly could easily go into Detroit and win. We know the Leaf fans travel well to Little Caesars Arena, just across the Ontario-Michigan border. Always going to be a lot of Leaf fans in Detroit, no question about that. But when your head coach, in the case of Todd McClellan, gets after your team and laces into them after game one of an 82-game season, you pay attention if you're a player. If you're a professional in any way, shape, or form, you pay attention when the coach kind of calls you out. And he was saying, we've got players on this team that have talked about, well, we're going to work on things, we're going to fix it. When? He says, now's the time. It's time for some of these guys to pick it up and do the things they keep talking about doing, but don't seem to be doing on the ice. So it was a very agitated Todd McClellan, and he should be. That was a terrible effort in a home opener. 5-1 loss to Montreal the other night in that game. I would be, shame on them, but I would expect Detroit, especially early in this game, to play with their hair on fire. To come out strong, throw everything they can at Toronto, coming off just that horrible effort against the Habs the other night. Toronto, feeling good after the Montreal win the other night, couple days off. All the excitement regarding the Blue Jays as well. But, they played well against Montreal. I'm going to take a shot here. First period money line, Detroit, in this game. Just first period. I don't trust them for 60 minutes. I don't. I got to see them play a good 60 minutes, full 3 periods, before I get that excited about Detroit, trusting them to win this game. But I could see them maybe getting a lead in the first 20 minutes. Maybe just being a little more sense of urgency on their side compared to the Leafs in the opening 20 minutes of this game. Cam Talbot's in net, and believe it or not, Gibson had a rough night. We got to call it like we see it. Part of the reason why Detroit was so poor the other night is because, look, John Gibson had a pretty nightmarish first start with his brand new team. So normally we would say, Cam Talbot's an inferior choice in net compared to John Gibson. He's not that much inferior to John Gibson based on the John Gibson of the other night, I can tell you that. So Cam Talbot gets the start here tonight for Detroit. We do expect Anthony Stolarz to be in for Toronto. Of course, Joe Woll is still out, so they will probably start Anthony Stolarz as much as it's reasonably possible to do moving forward. So, yeah, for me, I will buy into the Detroit Red Wings playing a hard, rugged, amped up first 20 minutes. I don't trust them for the game, but I'd rather put my eggs in the basket of a good opening period after the comments made by Todd McClellan after the Montreal loss. So Detroit first period money line for me. And you can get that plus 115, plus 120. Alex, what do you think here? Leafs, Wings.
Yeah, these are all gonna be really small plays, but I like a few things in that first period. Look, I like Detroit first period money line, at plus 115. I like Detroit to score first goal in first period, plus 145. I'm gonna take a shot with Sir Patrick Kane to get the first goal at 20-1, and I'm gonna take a shot with Detroit to have a 1-0 lead after 20 minutes, plus 550.
And it was the first period that sunk them pretty much against Montreal the other night. That's the period that demoralized them. That's the period that took them right out of the hockey game. So that's another reason I like this first period angle on Detroit. They couldn't have been worse in the first period the other night. They're going to want to be the polar opposite, if possible, here tonight, starting this game. Ryan, what do you think here? Toronto, Detroit.
Yeah, definitely. I actually kind of lean Detroit as well. Plus 120 at home. Obviously, a very disappointing loss versus Montreal the other night. So I'm on that first period over. I think there's going to be some goals early in this one. Obviously, both teams. Toronto obviously has a lot of firepower. So I think there's going to be I think this one will be a little bit more high scoring. So I'm on that first period over, and I also like the full game over 6 as well.
All right, there you go. Liking some goals is Ryan here in this one with Toronto and Detroit. Yeah, as far as props, Bobby McMahon for Toronto, Nick Robertson for Toronto, Nyes, of course, always worth a shot, and Marco Casper for exactly. People know what people know. Yeah, Casper, the friendly betting ghost for the Detroit Red Wings. I think he's worth a shot here tonight as well for props in this game. All right, Utah and Nashville. We've got the Utah Mammoth minus 120 road favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. Just a tiny, and stress this, tiny bet for me here on Utah, minus 115, minus 120. I thought they played okay in a losing cause against Colorado. I don't think they played that poorly in that game against the Colorado Avalanche. Nashville beat Columbus at home, and to be honest, Columbus actually outplayed them, outchanced them for a good chunk of that game. So it was kind of a fortuitous win for Nashville and kind of a unfortunate loss for Columbus the other night in that game against Nashville. I still don't think I'll say this, and our guy Shay, shout out to Shay, big Nashville fan from Kentucky, a good fan of the show. He's in our group chat. I saw his comment the other night. We finally scored a power play goal. That was funny. And that was the game winner. That's the goal that made it 2-1 the other night and we were able to beat Columbus with that goal the other night. So I don't know. I just think, Utah, I still have them as the better team, this season over Nashville. Tough loss for them. Nashville will win. Here's the thing, too. I say this in the NFL. I said this a bunch of times in the NFL on my show I did for the NFL yesterday, saying I don't trust bad teams off a win or mediocre teams off a win. And that's kind of the way I feel about Nashville. I kind of don't trust them to back it up after a win. So, like I said, it's not a big bet. It's one of the smaller bets on the card for me, but I took a bit of Utah here, minus 115. Alex, what do you think here, Utah, Nashville?
Yeah, so this is a draw I like quite a bit. I grabbed plus 320 this morning. I have Dylan Guenther to score the game winner. That price is at 60-1 at FanDuel. And then I also have Dylan Guenther 2 points plus 300. All three of those plays at FanDuel.
Yeah, I was going to save it for after you, but you already got to it. I'm on Dylan Guenther to score again. Yep. It's not bargain bin price anymore. It's plus 210, but still a great price. I mean, he has dangerous chances to score almost every time he's on the ice. That's how good that kid is for Utah. So, yeah, I'm going to keep riding the goal prop. By the way, there's a goal prop I forgot to mention in the Pittsburgh game, and I bet it. You got to ride the hottest goal scorer right now in the NHL to begin the season. Justin Brazeau for the Pittsburgh plus 560. Alex Ovechkin, eat your heart out. This is the best goal scorer right now. This is the best goal scorer right now in the NHL. Justin Brazeau, move over, Ovi. I mean, you got nothing on this guy right now. Justin Brazeau has been ridiculous here in these first two games. So I forgot to mention that. Not Islanders, Rangers, Penguins. I took Justin Brazeau at plus 560. See if this ridiculous hot streak, which is going to end at some point, if it can continue at least for one more game. Ryan, what do you think here? Utah, Nashville.
Yeah, so I actually like Nashville in this spot. Early in the season, it's kind of, there's not enough sample size at this point. It's all honestly just feel and kind of gut feeling what you think and what you see from 1 to 2 games. But for whatever reason, I like Nashville in this spot. I just have a good feeling about them. So I know Ian does it sometimes. It's going to be a small play for me with their money line, but I'm going to split it up money line as well as team total over 2.5 minus 140. So if they lose a 4-3, 5-3 game, at least that one will still cash. But Nashville's at home, should be rocking on a Saturday. I have a feeling that, Stamkos and O'Reilly and some of those guys will step up against the younger Utah team. So I don't know, it's kind of a gut feeling again. It's pretty early to tell, but I just like Nashville in the spot. I have a good feeling about them. So I'm going to take a small chance with their money line on this one.
All right, good stuff. Next up, we've got Columbus and Minnesota. Minnesota minus 150 home favorites, 5.5 in some spots, 6 in others as far as the total in this game. That's damn impressive by Minnesota. Well, it was impressive. The thing about, I shouldn't say damn impressive because St. Louis was out shooting them 22-12. They were kind of, the flow of the play was going against them. The run of play was going against them, but they withstood it. Gustafsson was, very good in net. St. Louis missed on a lot of their chances. And Minnesota capitalized on pretty much everything they got. They were great with the power play. That's what I noticed with Minnesota. They could have a really good power play this year. It's possible. Boldy, Rossi, Kaprizov, we know that's got a chance to be an excellent power play if they're clicking, and they certainly were the other night against the St. Louis Blues. Zeev Buium now is up on that top power play unit as well for the Minnesota Wild. And he's been a nice, I think he's a good type of defenseman to quarterback it from the blue line. So I was very impressed with Minnesota. Philip Gustafsson in net once again for them tonight, coming off that very fine shutout performance against St. Louis the other night. And Elvis Merzlikins confirmed in net for the Columbus Blue Jackets. And I know they lost to Nashville the other night 2-1, but that was still a pretty good effort overall from Jet Greaves. So the ball now is in the court of Merzlikins to match him, because I think Dean Evason's got like this little open tryout here to begin the regular season, open battle to be the number one goaltender and get the majority of the starts moving forward. So this is a big, important night here for Merzlikins, because if Merzlikins gets shelled and gets lit up and struggles and gives up 5 and they lose, now it's advantage Jet Greaves, in this battle for the crease that looks like it is going on here to begin the season for the Blue Jackets. So I'm going to take a shot with the over here, 5.5. I think we could see goals, especially now that Merzlikins is confirmed. I think we're going to see enough goals to get up and over this total. Columbus has more offensive potency, I think, than the one goal that they scored against Nashville shows. Look, if Gustafsson's great again, they're going to be in tough maybe to find the back of the net. And defensively, they gave up shots, but, they got the puck out when they had to, and they kept St. Louis off the scoreboard, which is all that matters. I do think Columbus, though, can chip in some offense here tonight, and I definitely think Minnesota at home will score here. Merzlikins still has a lot to prove, at least in my book, and their offense looked very good against St. Louis, especially that power play. So I think both teams can help get this over 5.5 tonight. Nothing for me on the side, though. Alex, what do you think? Jackets, Wild.
Yeah, I like goals here, too. So I am on over 1.5 pregame. And I grabbed Wild team total over 3.5 plus 115. I'll be looking for a 5.5 to plus money in game. No reason to lay 138 if I can wait a couple minutes and try and grab even money or better. So though that's my plan of attack. Like I said, with Merzlikins in net and the Wild, they like I said, fortuitous bounces going their way, and we've seen them play really well on home openers historically. So I think the energy is going to be, that building's going to be rocking, the Grand Casino Arena as it's now called. So everybody's fired up in town here, and I think they're going continue that offensive momentum rolling.
Yeah, they've won 4 or 5 at home against Columbus. 8-2 the last 10 meetings against Columbus as well for Minnesota. So they've definitely had the better of it here in this head-to-head series over the years. Ryan, anything here you like? Columbus, Minnesota.
Not too much. I agree with Alex. I think that place is going to be rocking. Minnesota started the season off pretty hot, so feel good about them. Don't want to lay minus 150, but I do think they get it done in regulation. So I am going to take the Wild 60-minute line, money line at minus 110. So that's all I have this game pregame.
All right. I thought I had a prop in this game. I'm just going to double check my notes here because I thought I bet something here in this game as far as props are concerned. Let me just double check on this. Oh, yeah, Voronkov goal. He scored their only goal the other night against Nashville, playing with Monahan and Marchenko on that top line for the Columbus Blue Jackets. All right. There's a reason this game is, and I didn't just put Dallas Stars versus Colorado Avalanche in the YouTube video title for this episode of the show just to make Ryan Robinson happy. I did it because this really is one of the best games of the day. No question about it. Playoff rematch, Dallas and Colorado. We've got Colorado minus 140, home favorites. The total here sitting at 6, shaded to the over in most spots. Colorado's doing the right thing here. They're not giving Dallas any bulletin board material. Everyone was asking Colorado yesterday, Dallas now, they've had your number in the playoffs. Does this feel like a bigger game than the rest of them? And everyone was said the same, jargon, just another game, just another regular season game. Yeah, externally they're saying that. Internally, I think it is a bigger game than most for Colorado. I did bet Colorado here minus 130 in this game, but I also like, and look at the regular season games last year, Dallas and Colorado. There were 3 of them. All 3 of those games over by Fectas, clean sweep of over by Fectas in all 3 regular season meetings last year, Stars and Avs. First period over and full game over cashed in all 3 regular season meetings last year between the Stars and the Avalanche. So that's what I like even more than anything. Over 1.5 first period, over 6 full game. Again, the over by Fecta was a clean sweep in all 3 matchups between the Stars and the Avs in the regular season last year. So I think we're going to see pace. The one thing I noticed about, while Colorado's been pretty solid defensively, my concern here is if Wedgwood gets the start. It would be against his old team, Dallas, and Wedgwood has not just been good. He's been great to start the year. He's been terrific, Scott Wedgwood, in these 2 starts for Colorado. He only gave up 1 goal to LA, and he only gave up 1 goal to Utah. Like, he has been dialed in early in the season. And I don't think Blackwood's ready to come back just yet. I still see him as listed as out. They were hoping maybe they'd get him back maybe for this game tonight. But I don't know if Jared Bednar is going to want to upset the apple cart with his goaltending because of how great Scott Wedgwood's played here in these first 2 games. So I could see him starting again. So that would be my one concern with these overs, is that Wedgwood plays one hell of a game here tonight for Colorado again against his old team. But Utah can score. LA, up and down with their offense. Dallas can score. And Dallas showed that against Winnipeg. The one thing, too, about Gullitson's first game behind the bench for Dallas, pace. I was blown away by the pace Dallas was playing at against Winnipeg. Pushing the attack, defense jumping up into the play multiple times in that game. Not saying their pace was not fast under DeBoer. I think it's actually gone times 3, times 5. The pace that Dallas played in that first game under Glenn Gullitson in Winnipeg, a couple of days ago. So, I like the overs here, first period, full game, and I also took Colorado here. They can say all they want, it's just another game. When you lose to Dallas now, multiple times now they've lost to Dallas, and the way they lost Game 7, like that was ridiculous, heartbreaking, gut-wrenching. It took their guts out, the way this put the knife in their back, Dallas. Colorado's up multiple goals in the third period, and then it became the Mikko Rantanen show in the third period, just beating the piss out of his former team there and ripping their hearts out with that third period hat trick. Unbelievable stuff. That's going to go down as an all-time ending to a playoff series, that Game 7, Dallas, Colorado last year. And people rip on McDonough doing the hockey. You can't call that better than McDonough did in that Game 7, the Rantanen hat trick. I know McDonough, people don't think he does hockey as well as football and the other sports. Sean McDonough, that is for ESPN. But he made an unbelievably great call of the Mikko Rantanen third period for Dallas against Colorado in that Game 7 during the playoffs. That was great stuff from him. But this is a good game. Looking forward to it. Alex, what do you think here? Stars, Avs?
Yeah, so pre-game, I'm going with the old Matty Rob special. I go over 1.5 and over 5.5 parlayed. So over for 1.5 first period, over 5.5 full game, plus 112. I got it FanDuel, and then I'll be looking for those things individually in game, trying to grab plus prices on the over 1.5, a little bit better with 5.5 on that full game.
All right, there you go. How about that? A Matty Rob special becomes an Alex B special for at least this game. First period over 1.5 parlayed, same game with over 5.5 full game here with the Stars and the Avs. That's another way to go about it. Rather than individually betting over 1.5 and over 6, you could get the full game to the 5.5 and parlay it with the first period over. So again, another option to go about it. Ryan, what about you here? Dallas, Colorado.
Yeah, it's a really good Colorado spot. Minus 140. They're at home. They're coming off 2 wins. Everyone's picking them. Feel good about them there, but not so fast. I feel good about Dallas. The other night at plus 122, you don't get them at plus money a lot. Obviously, I think there's just so many angles for this game as a fan.
It almost
Obviously,
feels like the spot is baked into the number a little bit. It's not a great bargain on Colorado here.
Yeah, no, I think it's just plus money. I feel good about them. Colorado is their home opener, so good chance to spoil that. And I think Dallas has just kind of had Colorado's numbers the last few years. Obviously, it's kind of at some point it's got to get in their head of that game and that series in the last few playoffs. Like Dallas has just kind of owned them, and it's kind of seems like a monkey on their back or weight on their shoulders. But just so many good props in this game in terms of fan. I mean, McKinnon. Never a bad idea to ladder his shot props. He always seems to bring his best against the Stars. His 2+ goals, 4, 5, 6+ shots. I'm always on that usually. And then Rantanen props. Obviously, he started the season right where he left off. He looked so good. Robertson is obviously, he looked hungry to me. He looked like he wanted to make that Olympic team, and he's motivated. Guys just throwing the body around, punching guys in the face that don't normally do. I know Golitzin wanted to see some of his skill guys play with more of an edge, so that's good to see. Something I really like, I came up just short last game. It was close, but Sam Steele's playing on the top line with Robertson or Rantanen and Hintz, and he looked so good last game. He had a nice assist on that first goal. I like him to score plus 650. I think it's good value. He's on the second power play. He's getting more opportunities. And obviously,
how good was he in the
Colorado,
playoffs last year?
He's one of my favorite, most underrated players. He can play on your third or fourth line. He can fill in on your top line. He kills penalties. He gets second power play time now. So definitely an added boost for him and playing with those guys. I mean, I think Colorado is really going to key in on Rantanen and Hintz. So it's just going to open up more time and space for Sam Steele. Those players are so good that they'll be able to find them. So I think that's just a really good value play. I see it at plus 650, plus 700 at some places. So I really like that. I also really like at what Alex said with the first period over and over 5.5 parlay. So I will be on that. Again, I'll be on Sam Steele anytime goal. I will probably have a parlay as well with McKinnon and Rantanen goals. I think, any time these two teams play each other, that's kind of going to be a storyline from here on out. And then also, plus 120, give me my Dallas Stars. I think it's a good spot for them. Last time they played Wedgwood, I think Dallas put up 4 on him. The time before that, he might have been in Nashville still, but I think they put up 4 or 5. So Wedgwood's been decent, but he hasn't played a team with as much firepower as Dallas. So I feel good about him here.
Yeah, I think we're all excited about this game. I know I'll either be home from the Ticats game by this time, because this is a 9 p.m. Eastern start, or I'll be at a friend's house, one of our season ticket people. Sometimes we go there for post-game drinks and watch sports and all that good stuff. But I'll be there. I'll be around to watch this for sure. Amid everything else going on, of course, there's a big Game 5 in baseball, all the other hockey, college football, you name it. As always, a big Saturday. A busy Saturday of sports at this time of year. All right, Vancouver and Edmonton. We've got Edmonton minus 170, home favorite, 6 the total. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to bet Rantanen, obviously. Props tonight in some form. I would maybe do a first line stack for Rantanen's line tonight, all to get a point. You can just be safe with it, all to get a point, and still be able to get a pretty good plus price with it. So definitely worth a look there. This game, look, way too many signs over the years of Edmonton in the October Blues getting to them. It's just year after year, these slow, sluggish starts. The loss to Calgary was a brutal one, in my opinion, for them. They got out to that 3-0 lead, couldn't hold it, losing a shootout. I'm taking Vancouver here plus 150. It's just Edmonton's got to prove it, that they can get off to a slow. This is first week, 2 weeks of the season for years now have not gone Edmonton's way. And it's almost like this team doesn't really lock in, and turn things up as far as execution, performance, intensity until later in the season. So there's no chance I'm laying minus 170 with the Oilers at this price after what I saw the other night against Calgary. Vancouver, look, they played Calgary too, but they beat Calgary. Now, they got Calgary on a back-to-back, and they got, obviously, Devin Cooley, not Dustin Wolf, to deal with, but still, nevertheless, it was a solid win. Good first effort for Adam Foote, the new head coach of the Vancouver Canucks, in that victory over the Calgary Flames the other night. So we'll see if they can keep it rolling here tonight against the Edmonton Oilers. It's been a back-and-forth series, in the last several meetings. But like I said, I like what I saw from Vancouver. They only gave up 18 shots in that first game against Calgary. See if they can keep it going here. It looks like as far as goaltending is concerned, by the way, Dallas, Colorado goaltending, Ottinger's confirmed. Wedgwood is not yet, but he's still projected. This game, Thatcher Demko projected. Calvin Pickard has been confirmed in net for the Edmonton Oilers. So he'll get the start. Again, he's capable when he's on. We've seen him obviously play some great games for Edmonton last year. There was a time when, Calvin Pickard was saving their bacon at times, but there's also those instances too when Calvin Pickard kind of looks mortal. And just like we've seen with our guy Stu Skinner over the years. So, yeah, I mean, I just think with Edmonton's consistent track record of slow starts in October, I'm okay taking a shot here. Vancouver plus 150 at this price. Alex, what do you think? Canucks Oilers.
This game will probably have the least amount of screen time for the night games, along with that Ranger and Penguin game. So this is a pass for me.
All right, Ryan, what do you think? Vancouver, Edmonton.
Yeah, I think honestly, I kind of like Vancouver here plus 150. Again, it's so early on at this point; it's just kind of a gut feeling. So I like that plus 150. I do, if anything, leading the Oilers. I don't like that minus 170. If anything, I think I would take their team total over 3.5 in case it is that high scoring game. But I'm kind of with Alex. Might not watch too much of this. But I might take a shot with that plus 150, just being, kind of a underdog pick, if you will.
All right, good stuff there. As far as, let me see, was there a prop I took in this game? Yeah, Frederick and Savoy for Edmonton on the right wing. Just small bets because they're up on the top two lines tonight for them in this game. And Lekaramaki for Vancouver. I think he's going to be a player to watch out for this year. All right, Anaheim, San Jose. We're down to our last two games. How about that? What a pace we've kept. We've got Anaheim minus 120, road favorites, 6.5 the total in this game. This is just kind of the feeling I've got with St. Louis as well. Early, the game we talked about earlier, where people may overreact to St. Louis getting shut out 5-0 by Minnesota. It's one game. I'm not overreacting. People may overreact to Anaheim losing 3-1 to Seattle the other night. I'm not overreacting. By the way, they outshot Seattle 17-5 in the first period of that game. That was the Joey Decord show. He was absolutely spectacular for the Kraken. That's a great sign for Seattle that he played that well, because they're going to need his goaltending, because you do worry about whether they score enough goals consistently going forward. But I like this spot for Anaheim. They've owned San Jose, by the way. They have played San Jose very well the last handful of meetings. So I'm going to take Anaheim here. Quack, quack, bounce back spot, minus 120. Small sprinkle on the over by Fecta, too. I think the goals that could have been scored that weren't the other night for Anaheim. There's too many good offensive young players on this team. I know they got the only goal from Beckett Seneke, and keep an eye on him. He's going to be a pretty good player for them, I think. But, I think this is the game where some of those goals they could have scored but didn't because of the stingy Seattle D and the great play of Decord in net. Some of those goals could go in. San Jose is confirmed to go with Yaroslav Askarov here in this game. Not a surprise at all. I think after the horror show ending for Alex Nedeljkovic the other night against Vegas, that's brutal, man. That was absolutely just that was a brutal ending for San Jose. To see the Jack Eichel bounce goal, to miss the empty net, miss putting it into the empty net, that would have sealed the game. I don't know how they didn't put it into the empty net to make it 4-2. And then down the ice goes Eichel, takes a crazy hop, the puck off Eichel's stick, and bounces past Alex Nedeljkovic, and then the misplay by Nedeljkovic in overtime. That can't happen. You got to just be smarter than that. You can't make that kind of blunder at the blue line, and then there you go, off to the races, game-winning goal. Brutal loss for San Jose. And you wonder with a young team still, is there a lingering effect and a hangover effect to a loss like that? A veteran team may be more easily able to park a loss like that. San Jose, we'll see if there's a bit of a hangover after just an absolutely brutal loss like that against Vegas. So another reason that I think Anaheim's worth a shot here. And they've, like I said, they've pretty much dominated San Jose the last couple of years. So Anaheim minus 120 and a little bit on the over by Facta here as well. Dostal is not confirmed, but he is projected in net, but that has not been confirmed as of yet. Askarov for San Jose. Again, Askarov was not great. I think they've got high hopes for him. Goalie of the future, all that BS you always hear. But he was very inconsistent when he started with San Jose last year down the stretch. So need to see more. Need to see more from him. Alex, what do you think here? Anaheim, San Jose.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Askarov, he was fantastic in the AHL, but this is another jump. This is the next level. And like I said, I believe he will do fine, but it's going to take him time to get his footing. He had injury issues as well, too. So it's going to take some time for him to get solidified. And I think we're way away from that happening. So I like Anaheim first period on the three-way line. I got plus 170. So I got that's a price at FanDuel, but yeah, first period money line on the three-way for Anaheim plus 170. Like I said, I want to see them, like I said, come out with that same kind of pace that they did with Seattle. Get at least a dozen shots on goal, and like I said, pepper Askarov to take advantage early, take that crowd out of it in the home opener, and get a jump on this team. So Ducks, I was leaning toward first goal, first period, but at plus 120, 125, not that great of a price. I'll go with a little bit juicier price, plus 170 on the three-way money line in the first period.
All right, there you go. Anaheim first period money line, first period three-way money line. So this is Anaheim minus a half, basically, in the first period here for Alex, which would be pretty good price on that as well. Ryan, what do you think here? Ducks, Sharks.
Yeah, don't have a great feel on this one. I'm going to take a small shot with San Jose money line. I think just a brutal loss the other night with Vegas. Obviously, the way they lost that, they looked pretty solid. The first part of the game, they were fast. They were, it was a good, quick transition type of game. They obviously have some young skill with those high end players. So they're at home, kind of an underdog play again, but I'm taking Sharks money line here.
All right, Sharks money line here for Ryan. It's going to be interesting, very interesting from a mentality standpoint. A loss like that, how do these young San Jose Sharks respond? That's going to be a fascinating thing to observe here tonight when they take on the Anaheim Ducks. As far as props go, Leo Carlson, I like as far as props. Gauthier, I think he, was quiet the other night. Maybe Seneke got their only goal. Maybe look toward him once again. So those are a couple Anaheim props I'm eyeing here in this game tonight. Eklund, actually, I think is a good one for San Jose if I'm going to look. Celebrini and Will Smith are, the headliners, but don't ever sleep on William Eklund. I think he's a really good player for that San Jose team. He doesn't get the accolades and the attention that Macklin, Celebrini, and Will Smith get, but he's a really good young player, part of this core for Mike Greer, Ryan Warsofsky, and the San Jose Sharks moving forward. All right, final game of this Saturday card, Vegas Golden Knights, Seattle Kraken. We've got Vegas minus 170, road favorites, 6 the total here in this game. The bet that I made, the bet that's the primary wager for me in this game is that if it ain't broke, don't fix it bet. Vegas team total over 3.5 plus money. 4 goals in both of their first 2 games, 4 plus. Obviously, fortuitous 4 goals against San Jose, but 4 goals nevertheless. We saw them score 4, obviously, against LA, or 5 the night before, I should say, against LA. We know with Mitch Marner now on the team, it's an improved offensive team. It's a more dangerous power play. Already they look like one of the better top lines in the league. The Eichel, Marner, and Dorofeyev. Not Dorofeyev combination, Barbashev, close shave Barbashev. But Dorofeyev, who's not on the top line, man, one of the best goal scorers going right now. You got to take him. Yep. You just ride it. Ride it until it stops right now. Pavel Dorofeyev. Dorofeyev. Pavel Dorofeyev. That's the Amo Be There song. You remember that? That's we used that for Dorofeyev there. It's a great song, by the way. Underrated. Big hit in the 80s. But yeah, Pavel Dorofeyev, I mean, he's been this release and the way he gets, you know how quickly the puck is off his stick when he lets her rip? I mean, it's an impressive shot. It's an impressive release that this guy has. There's no question about it. So Pavel Dorofeyev here for the Vegas Golden Knights goal prop. I like Vegas team total over. Dabble in the over by Fecta as well, just because we've seen the over by Fecta cash in both Vegas games so far. I know this is Lane Lambert. I know this is Seattle. I know they want to play stingy defensively. Let's see you try to defend the Vegas Golden Knights right now with the potency that they're throwing out there right now. So yeah, over by Fecta. But a little bit more than that. Primary bet is Vegas team total over 3.5 at plus money. You can get it at a plus price here, that Vegas team total in this game. My only concern is Decord, because I'm sure he's going to get the start again after a brilliant opener against Anaheim. If he stands on his head again, maybe I'm in some trouble here in this game. But I think it'll be a little more difficult for him. And he's a good young goalie. We love some Joey Decord, but it'll be a little more difficult, I think, for him and the Seattle team to defend this Vegas team. Aiden Hill's projected, and that's another thing that gravitated me toward the over by Fecta. Aiden Hill was not great against LA, and he was not great last year. So still a lot to prove as far as Aiden Hill. We still got that APB out there. The Aiden Hill of 2023 when they won the Stanley Cup. You know, where's that Aiden Hill from that playoff run where they won the Stanley Cup? We're still waiting to see if that form returns. It has not returned since then. Last year was a struggle and not the greatest opener for Aiden Hill in net against LA the other night. Alex, what do you think here? Final game, Vegas-Seattle.
Yeah, Vegas team total over 3.5. I grabbed plus 100 earlier this morning, and that's the only thing I'm rolling with.
All right, there we go. I love it. Yep. Vegas team total over. Brian, what do you think here? Golden Knights Kraken.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that plus 150 price it's hard to turn down, but Vegas has been rolling, so don't want to take that minus 170. I think I'm going to just stick with what's working. Like you said, I'm going to take Vegas team total over 3.5. I think they can get that done tonight.
Right, good stuff indeed there. All right, there you have it. Vegas and Seattle. Great. How about that for time? I mean, my goodness. And we've got just enough time, too, to really be out by 1:30 because we got 10 minutes is plenty in order to get the bargain bin special and the best bets done. So great stuff. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. Yeah, Jonathan Davis, excellent point. I wish I could have gotten into more analysis, but we're just so crunched for time today. Tried to keep the analysis brief, but that's a point worth mentioning. True. That Vegas's blue line, no Pietrangelo, the early returns on it in the first 2 games are less than inspiring. And, I'm sure that's concerning a little bit for Bruce Cassidy and the coaching staff. But you're right. Blue line and I still thought the blue line was fine, really strong still, even without Petro. You got Hannafin's out too, though. Keep that in mind, too. Hannafin may not play once again here in this game. And so it's Hannafin and Pietrangelo. And once they get Hannafin back, it helps. You've still got, White Cloud, and you've still got Theodore, and still an overall pretty solid blue line. But you're right. They have not looked at their best. Vegas on the back end here in the first 2 games of the season. All right, there you have it. Great stuff, guys. Shout out to everyone. What a 570 live viewers right now across all the platforms. Hit the like button. Appreciate it very much. And like I said, we're excited about this massive 16-game card, all 32 teams in action. Reminder, tomorrow we are on with our Sunday show, noon Eastern, and we will do the Sunday game and all the Monday games on the show tomorrow. We'll be off on Monday, which is Canadian Thanksgiving, and then we'll be back on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern the usual time. WizardSportsPicks.com. Check it out. Single game premium picks available from all the handicappers, me, Alex, Matt Robinson, tons of great handicappers there on the site. More are going to be added as well. WizardSportsPicks.com. Make sure you check that out. Great website, and excited to see it build over time. And make sure you become a Patreon member if you haven't already. Patreon.com/IceGuys, just $10 per month. Goalie charts, totals charts, bonus content, bonus shows, bonus videos, exclusive live betcasts later in the season. And of course, our daily betting card posted each and every day. Sides, totals, player props posted each day on the Patreon page. So make sure you check that out. $10 per month. It's been a good start to the daily card. Let's see if we can keep it rolling here as we move forward. Huge card today. It's already been my card on the Patreon page has already been posted. So make sure you check that out. Patreon.com/IceGuys, just $10 per month.
Also, check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. You've got 2 days left to save 20% off of any order, $70 or more. So this is a great time to stock up, get a couple items that you've been looking at for a while, and bundle them all together and save 20% off all orders of $70 or more. You get 20% off for the next 2 days. That's at iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
Good stuff. All right, bargain bin special of the night. Best bets coming up in just a moment, right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
Kings and queens shop.
All right, check out all our sponsors, including, of course, our friends, our new smoke sponsor, Royal Cannabis. 20% off, promo code IceGuys at royalcannabisshop.com. And a new viewer, apparently, of the show, SensFan7.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good to have you on board. I'm on the Sens tonight, so go Sens go. I'm with you here tonight as they take on the Florida Panthers down in Sunrise. So hopefully the Sens have another victory in them here tonight. All right, hopefully we have some victories in us here tonight with Bargain Bin Special of the night. No shortage of games to choose from. Alex, where are you going for Bargain Bin Special?
Let's head back home. 1901 West Madison, 100th anniversary of the Chicago Blackhawks taking on the Montreal Canadiens. I like a player prop from both sides. We'll start with the visitors, the Habs. Let's go with Oliver Kapanen. He can cash with him plus 700 on opening night. He scored a goal in the first two games. Why not score a goal in his third? Get him right now at highest price, 6-1. I got plus 575. Also liking from the Hawks, Frank Nazar. I like him to get 2 points tonight, plus 470. If you want to parlay these together, you can get plus 3290 at FanDuel, but I'm going to play them separately. Oliver Kapanen, anytime goal, plus 575 for Montreal. Frank Nazar, 2 points, plus 470 for Chicago. Those are my bargain bin specials for this Saturday night.
There you go. A couple of bargain bin specials. Oliver from the same game. Oliver Kapanen, Montreal to score a goal, and 2 points or more from Frank Nazar for Alex B. Smith with his bargain bin special of the night. All right, Ryan, bargain bin special. What do you like?
Yeah, this is a tough one for me today. I like Josh Doan to score. I almost took that as my bargain bin. I know there's so many storylines in the Dallas-Colorado game that I was stuck between, but I mentioned it. I'm going to go with Sam Steele. Looks like it moved up to plus 700 all the way up to plus 750 in some spots. He's on the top line. He's on that second power play. He kills penalties. He gets more ice time. He's playing with Ranson and Hintz. So give me Sam Steele anytime goal. I see it around plus 700. So that's my bargain bin special tonight.
Sammy Steele. There you have it. For
fellow mustache guy.
Mustache. Exactly. There you go. Both rocking the 70s stash there, both of them. Yeah, Sam Steele's a good one for a bargain bin special tonight, especially him on the top line. I don't mind people in the chats looking at Andre Palat, but my concern is that guy's offense is just nowhere near what it used to be. And I've tried to back him going back to Tampa Bay before with New Jersey and didn't do anything. So I wish you luck, but his offense is missing right now in action for the Devils. My bargain bin special tonight. It did not take long for us to go back to an old friend for bargain bin special, but it's one of the games this afternoon. Holloway, cue up the Madonna. If we bet on Holloway, take some time to celebrate. Dylan Holloway for the St. Louis Blues to find the back of the net to score. Plus 330 is the best price out there. Bounce back spot for St. Louis. He's also an Alberta boy. Now, more so Edmonton, not Calgary, but still, he's back in his home province playing this afternoon, and I think he gets on the scoreboard for the St. Louis Blues. So Dylan Holloway, plus 330 for my bargain bin special of the night. All right, best bets for this huge Saturday card. Alex, what do you like for best bet?
There was so much to choose from, and I was kind of going between a couple of different things. But you know what? Sins Fan 7 showing up and being a new viewer, I think he may have spawned this. So let's go with the Sins. Ottawa, team total over 2.5, minus $1.25. Just need them to get 3 goals against Florida. That's my best bet for Saturday.
All right, there you go. Ottawa, team total over 2.5 for Alex B. Smith with his best bet. Ryan, what do you like here for best bet? Oh, you're muted. I don't know if you're actually you're not muted.
Sorry. My mic was off. We talked about it early in the show. Tampa's at home. I feel really good about them. Usually at home, whether they get it done or not, there's that trend. They like to score 4 goals. So my best bet today, I'm going Tampa Bay team total over 3.5 plus 110. That's my best bet today.
All right, and my best bet. My bargain bin is from that game. My best bet is from that game. St. Louis, minus 120 against Calgary. 9-1 in the last 10 meetings against Calgary. They've won 5 straight times at the Saddle Dome in Calgary. They've owned this series. Bounce back performance after a shutout loss to Minnesota where they didn't play as bad as the final score would indicate. The better of these two teams still, I think the Blues get it done. St. Louis, minus 120, best bet. For this Saturday NHL card. That's a wrap. We've got the show done right at 1:30 Eastern. Just what I was hoping for. I got to run down to the Ticat game, which starts in about 90 minutes from now. So great stuff. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button on the way out. Great show. And hopefully you all have a winning Saturday with this massive NHL slate. Reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith and Ryan Robinson, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we're back with you on Sunday, noon Eastern, for another edition of the Ice Guys.